Hello and welcome to the Nature Guide. I'm Jonathan Joseph, and joining me today is Lauren from Warriors of Wildlife and Simbonga, and she actually works in the world of wildlife conservation, helping animals that are abused and taking care of them. Lauren, thank you so much for joining me. Welcome.
Yeah, we're really excited to be here. And what's really great, I know not all the viewers will be able to see it, but we do have some of the animals with us too, which is cool.
Now, Lauren, just walk me through how did Warriors of Wildlife and Simbonga actually come together, since that is the places that you're working at, and what is your role exactly in it?
Right. So WOW and Simbonga are actually, we're all the same people. It's the same thing.
Okay.
Warriors of Wildlife is our nonprofit entity. So our sanctuary itself operates as a nonprofit entity, but it's not just our sanctuary where our work is taking place. We're also doing a lot of ongoing rescue efforts globally. And at the moment, specifically with the ongoing issues that Ukraine is facing with a lot of conflict there at the moment, we're doing a lot of rescue efforts there as well and a lot of aid and relief. But Simbonga is our physical property where our sanctuary resides. So we're all the same. This is just a really amazing place where people can come and visit us as well.
Now, what are some of the common misconceptions actually about wildlife sanctuaries, and how can people learn more about the real work that actually goes into rescuing these animals?
Right. So one of the things we've really discovered over the last recent years, especially, is that the term sanctuary is a really loosely based term. And people are often using this term because it gains a lot of attraction, right? But now sanctuaries itself, I mean, it's a highly manipulated term. And so if you do visit a sanctuary or you want to support a sanctuary, things to look out for is, are they breeding? There should not be breeding of animals at a sanctuary. Are they allowing any form of buying and selling of their animals? And are they allowing hands-on interaction? Because all three of those main things would be huge red flags where it wouldn't really then be a sanctuary. That's now a business where somebody's trying to make money. So one of the really cool things about South Africa right now is there's a new website out called Wild Choices, and it actually kind of assesses all of these facilities throughout the country. And you can click on what facility you might be willing to interested in visiting, and it will actually tell you this is a good place to support. It's a true sanctuary. This place really isn't a true sanctuary. Be extra cautious. And so that's really awesome that we've got those resources out now. But yeah, sanctuary, it's a difficult one. It's a really hard one right now.
I love the fact that you're mentioning some of the different resources that people can actually be using now, because that's actually an application I never heard about and didn't know about, but it's definitely one that I'm definitely wanting to check out. But just touching on a bit on the changes that can happen globally, as you are working with animals from a global scale, what would you say can actually help reduce the number of animals that actually needs rescue?
Right. So, I mean, the first thing, and it might sound so simple, but awareness and education is where things are going to truly start shifting, and we're going to see a lot of positive change. Um, you know, it would help to have things like preventative laws in place. It would help a lot to have, a lot of monitoring and following through with these preventative laws if they are put into place. Who's monitoring what is or isn't taking place. But a lot of it is just being aware and making sure that you're doing your own part. So it kind of sounds cheesy. It's like, do your research, do your own part, but that's really part of it. And then when you go and support different places or different reserves or whatever the case may be, don't be afraid to ask questions. Education is where it begins. And if you don't know, how can you make a change, right? Once you
Yes.
know, then you can do better. So that's where it really starts.
And what action should actually be taken to now prevent more animals from actually suffering?
Yeah, I think specific actions, we do need to see the laws strengthening. We need to see the laws and, the people that we vote into office really taking a stance about what we want to see with these types of animals. And a lot of that, again, with your regulations and legislation and following up on all of that, who's policing this? Who's watching what is or isn't taking place? But a lot of it too, these animals are not ours to exploit. They're not ours. They are equally able to be here, and we need to start respecting that. And so action from a personal capacity is just really be mindful of what you choose to support. Things like circuses, we really stand against if circuses are using wild animals in their productions. And so things like, if the circus comes to town, be mindful, what type of circus is that? And even like us, if you're coming to visit us, be mindful of what you're supporting and don't be afraid to ask those questions. And then hopefully we'll see some advances with the legal side of things too.
Now, I just see that you are mentioning that the stance that people should be taking is crucial, and what you do support also has an effect on the animals itself. But how do we actually get to motivate people to start getting involved in stopping the wildlife trafficking and also the abuse?
Right. So, it's really, really difficult because things like social media are becoming huge in the sense of awareness, but also it's becoming a tool for these types of people that are illegally trafficking these animals. And so again, it's all about being mindful of what you support. Even the simple fact of going onto social media and what you're liking and sharing, that's a huge thing. But for us in terms of motivating people, one of the huge benefits we see is that when people actually have the opportunity to come out here and do a guided tour with us and they meet our animals, they get to meet them, what's their name, how old are they, where do they come from, we see people start forming connections with these animals, and that really seems to kind of make people connected and finding that connection. And some people can find that connection just by reading about it or seeing it on social media, but also truly getting to meet these animals and really see them as individuals really, really helps on our side of things. We're so fortunate that we have so many people that are returners. They're like, we want to come back for another day. I have some people that have been here once a month, which is amazing. And it's its own way of supporting our little initiative as well.
For the people that are touched by what they do see here and what you've just said, how can they actually get involved? How can they know more about Simbonga and also Warriors of Wildlife?
Right. So one of the easiest things to do, and like I just kind of mentioned this, is social media. Find us on
Yes.
social media, like our content, follow it. Again, don't be afraid to ask questions. Pop us a little message if you've got some questions. What's really cool about our sanctuary itself is we do allow virtual adoption. So if you do want to virtually adopt, which will be a direct donation to that individual animal, we also do take day visitors as well as overnight guests. The sanctuary itself offers educational guided tours so you can really learn about what's happening. And donating makes a huge impact for us in terms of sustaining our sanctuary and ensuring these animals that call this their forever home have what they need. But as we kind of started at the beginning, it's not just our sanctuary that needs the support as well. We do have a lot of ongoing rescue efforts that are taking place in Ukraine at the moment. And so we also need support for that, where we're helping a lot of displaced domestic animals, things like sterilizations and vaccinations and feeding. It's amazing how many people have unfortunately had to leave their animals behind. And so donations really, really make a huge impact how we can then, hit the ground running, whether it be here at the sanctuary and improving the quality of life for these guys and giving them what they need, or, all the way overseas as well, where we're trying to help out as much as we can there too.
Lauren, thank you so much for joining me on this interview, and thank you so much for the work that you are doing to help these animals out.
Yeah, we hope to see all of you guys soon.
Definitely. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks, guys.
That's it, Lauren from Warriors of Wildlife and Simbonga joining me right here on the Nature Guide.